Hi everybody, this is Elizabeth with Live Simple, Live Free. We are just now coming to the point in May where we're just about to the final frost date so I can really start planting. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about my garden and show you some stuff with the fruit trees and things like that. I'm going to do something a little bit different with my garden this year, just because I really love to plant flowers, beautiful blooming annuals. I mean, I'm trying to get a lot of perennials going around here, but I love the beautiful blooming annuals. And so for right now, actually, one of these garden beds is a perfect place for me to put in some flowers, and so I'm going to do that this year. So I'm going to have one bed here with flowers in it. My asparagus is coming up really well now. I'm going to get some lettuce in there. And then I'm going to have one bed. I was going to switch this out because I was a little concerned about those little wormy bugs that we had last year that was killing my squash and melons. But in the bed that I had the pumpkins and the watermelons, I have got a huge amount of volunteers coming up. So I'm going to let them grow, and I'll just watch out for those little worm things. And then I'm going to have a bed with sweet potatoes, and we love using the greens from them. And I'm going to have a bed with like a lot of winter squash. That's just what I want to put in my garden this year. And then we're going to be growing some tomatoes too on the cow, on Lucy, the incredible cow that my son built to have a nice beefy tomato cage. So, all right, so I'm going to start out just putting in some flowers. Well, these beautiful annuals will be the first thing that I'll be planting here in the garden. And this could not be easier, amazing soil to work with. It's just soft and rich and black. It's wonderful. Oh, I just saw an earthworm. That's always a good thing. I realize these aren't things that I can eat, but you know, the flowers give me so much joy, and this is something where I can really work with it without having to kneel down or bend over a whole lot, and I just thoroughly love it. So I'm just going to do that this year. Okay, now this should all come out in one plant. Beautiful. They're gorgeous. I have flowers. I love it. Now I'm going to put these petunias. By the way, I knew what those were, and then the little card fell off somewhere, so I'll try to be sure I find out exactly what these are called. They're a little different to me, but I thought they were so pretty. But these are definitely petunias. And I've got these, and they're called Supertunias. Daybreak Charm and Bordeaux. So I thought they were so pretty. So those are going to go kind of in the middle. Here we go. It'll be easy to keep the weeds pulled out from around them, and they'll spread. Yeah, they'll be definitely spreading. There you go. I just got these at Lowe's. Oh, they're very pretty rock. Isn't that going to be beautiful? Very gentle. Ooh. Come on, ease out of there. That's it. Don't want to damage them. Ah, they look good. I think that there's a possibility that Bill has a little bit, yeah, come up to me, a little bit of an idea how much it has meant to me that he's put in these garden beds for me. It was so much work. But I not only love growing some of the different foods, but I'm excited that I can just have some flowers out here that I can enjoy. And it's so much easier when I do it in this place, in here.
You know, Elizabeth just talked about how much joy this brings her, and it's part of the reason she's putting in flowers is because she loves flowers. But for me, quite frankly, the garden doesn't do much for me. To me, it's just a lot of work, and I don't get much pleasure from it. But I'm supporting her in everything that she's doing. I built the beds, I built the covers, because I know how much joy it brings her, and I love to support her, and I love to see that big smile on her face.
Yes.
And also because I'm convinced of the necessity going forward of growing a garden to be able to eat in the future. So it's a practical application for me, and she gets the joy out of all of this, and I let her do all the planting because she loves it. But bottom line is I do a lot of the hard work behind it.
Oh, that is for sure. Yeah, this wonderful earth I have in here, the soil, all of it, the building, yes.
So, you know, we only have 4 beds right now. That's not a whole lot, and she's using part of it with flowers. But the main thing here is that we're just learning.
Yes, we are learning a lot about how to grow things, what works, what doesn't.
And we may very well put in a few more beds in the future. I don't know, but this is our foray into gardening.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yep. Go ahead, dear.
I give him a kiss, but boy, am I sweaty.
Ew.
Ew. Now these are splendiferously beautiful free fall, extra large purple, face trailing pansies. Oh, I love pansies. I'm going to get these planted and then we'll kind of show you up close how gorgeously gorgeous they are. Oh, this soil is just amazing. I can't wait to get everything planted. And the smell of the soil. I love that smell. I used to go up where my aunt was working in a greenhouse, and the smell and the way the air felt in there, absolutely wonderful. I'll put this over with the other ones. There we go. Oh, aren't you gorgeous? Yes. Gently fill this in. I'm bringing it around so that there's no exposed roots. Yeah, we try to grow food to feed our bodies, and I'm telling you, this feeds my soul. It does. There you guys go, and I'll give them a nice drink. A little bit more around there. Okay, awesome. So here we have these absolutely beautiful pansies. It's like they have sweet little faces here. Oh, and some beautiful pink petunias and beautiful purple petunias. And then whatever those are, which I'll try to find out for you guys because I can't find the tag, but I thought they were gorgeous, and they're annuals, and so I know they'll bloom all summer and they'll spread. That's going to be wonderful. Now, if I can get them to really grow, I'm going to put some greens in through here, but I'm going to give room for the flowers to be able to spread a little bit. And then down here, we have asparagus. Now, Molly and I planted more asparagus this year. This is one of them coming up. It's all the way across there. There's more asparagus planted. And I appreciate it. She had some extra little things she starts with, and we brought them down and planted them. Now, this is my asparagus. This is my 3rd summer that they've been planted. And all of a sudden we're getting these massive, they look like big bamboo trees coming up. we're still learning. Now we cut these tops off and ate all that stuff, and it was just incredibly good. But these are coming up pretty spindly. So I think what I may do is trim these down a little farther, and then the stuff that comes up maybe will be a little heftier. But you know, if you look right here, this kind of asparagus up in here, just so good. So this is our first year where we're kind of learning kind of how to use it. But I got a feeling this is going to be producing asparagus for me the whole season. And of course, every year that this bed becomes more established, the more we're going to be able to know what we're doing, having this wonderful perennial asparagus. It's fabulous. Now this is my bed where I had watermelon and some cantaloupe and pumpkins last year. Now a lot of them were killed by that little worm that I was talking about, where I had to give an injection to the stalks and we sprayed with special stuff. I'm going to keep an eye out for that this year very much. But it looks to me like that those worms killed the plant when some of the looks like watermelon were really small, and the seeds got like buried down into the soil. So we're pretty sure these are like wonderful volunteer watermelon coming up. So I'll thin them out as they need it, but let's see what happens. This could be wonderful. And I did save some watermelon seeds last year, and if I don't need them this year, they're dry, I'll save them and I can use them later. It's wonderful.
So we have cedar rust in this area that we need to be careful to control for our apple tree. This is our apple tree. As you can see, the other things are budding and this one isn't yet. This is a very late bloomer, very late budder. But cedar rust is a symbiotic thing between apple trees and cedar trees in the area. And in order for it to affect your apple tree, there has to be a cedar tree, I think, like a quarter mile or something within there. And it just destroys, it curls up the leaves and just destroys the apple tree. And so we have this copper fungicide. This is completely organic, and you just spray this all over the tree. You're supposed to spray it on before it starts to bud, which is what I'm doing now. And then you spray it on again as the things start to bud, and then you spray it again basically once the flowers are gone off of it, but then you spray it all over the leaves. And this takes care of cedar rust.
This organic fungicide that we got also helps with things like peach leaf curl, and so we're going to go ahead and spray the peach tree too. And once again, it's you know, if there's too many buds, little peaches growing in here, I'll kind of whittle it down just so that we don't weaken the little branches and everything on the peach tree. But Bill's going to go ahead and spray this one down too. When we bought this stuff, they said that it's, you know, absolutely organic and it's no problem putting it on things that raise food. So, alrighty, Bill will spray it for me here. I just love our sculpture that we have here. It's actually a tomato cage, a tomato support. Our son, Barry, does wonderful different kinds of sculpture media and stuff like that. And if you look here, this is a cow. She's dancing for joy. This is her tail. See, there's her head with her horns or ears, probably, because she's a cow. But anyway, the udder, it's just this happy, joyful thing. He made it out of rebar and then painted it. Molly, our daughter-in-law, had said, Barry, I need you to build me a beefier tomato cage. So he builds a cow. I call her Lucy because she's a redhead. But anyway, I just love this thing. And we've been growing cucumbers on it every year that we've had it here, and some tomatoes last year also. So this year I'm going to put some tomatoes in here. Bill's going to plant them for me because you have to kind of kneel down. But putting in some tomatoes here, and then we'll be planting some cucumbers pretty quickly here, and they just wind their way up the cow, and then you'll see we'll put a protective fence around it, but it does a really good job. So Bill will be planting my tomatoes for me.
So you just want them here and here?
I think that'll be good.
And then
yes.
what, the cucumbers on the other side?
Yes.
Okay.
I love hearing the birds. There's one. Wonderful.
There you go, dear one.
Thank you so much, hon.
We don't put fences around, the deer devour everything.
Yeah. We have to protect everything, and the deer would eat every bit of it. This simple piece of, mesh fencing has worked really well.
Basically just wire it together right here and just leave it freestanding and it just stays in place.
Works really well. And it doesn't seem to restrict anything's ability to grow. So he's got wire that he's using, just twisting to hold the two sides together.
Okay, here we go.
It works really well. Thank you, sweetie.
Super.
Well, so my sweet, strong hubby is going to lift this very heavy watering can and give my flowers a drink here. Now, when we have the whole garden in, we set up a sprinkler that goes back and forth and waters the whole garden when it needs it. But it's silly to waste all that water when we're only doing just a part of things right now. So he's giving everybody a lovely drink there. It's always interesting because the flowers always, they kind of wilt when they get the water on them, but boy, they will just perk right back up again. They'll come right back. Thank you, hon. Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to tell you, we have more garden that's going to be planted. Like I said, we're just barely getting close to the last frost date now. So I've got a lot of other things I'm going to be putting in, but we are just trying to get things kind of started. And I'm going to have a very busy week coming up, which I don't know how much planting I can do, but I'll be hitting it hard right after that, and I think it'll be fine. We have enough of the season that it can go like well into the fall, and I think we're going to do great. There you go, flowers. And of course, we still get rain, so. All right. My goal is to definitely have some good, healthy little seedlings all the time, just ready to plant. Well, last year, I think I started them too early and they got really spindly and I couldn't really keep them going. And this year, we literally had to be out of town and doing a bunch of different stuff right about the time I should have planted. So I'm going to go ahead and get some things in the ground. And like I said, the tomatoes, I went ahead and bought some that were already growing. And I'm learning how to get these seedlings going and everything, but I still haven't got it down perfect. But I'm going to plant and get everything growing that I can. And some of the stuff I really want to see grow, I know is going to. I've learned they grow like crazy. My other 3 beds are going to be full of things that love to sprawl and that I love to have out of my garden. Yep. Well, love you guys. There's going to be more coming about just garden things and the fruit trees we're trying to grow. And, my roses are just starting to really act like they're going to get buds. I will share that with you and show you as we go along with how things are planting, how they're growing. And, we honestly admit we're just trying to learn, but I have sure enjoyed it. And the stuff we've gotten out of our garden has been wonderful. I never knew I'd fall so much in love with sweet potato leaves. They're really good. So I'm going to go ahead and lower this. And I know the bees can still get in, the rain, the sunshine, but it protects them so a deer doesn't come along and go yum yum and eat them all up. So they look beautiful in there. And here you go, asparagus. We'll be getting this trimmed up pretty quick here. Oh, once they started blooming, they're just opening up everywhere. You can see that the flower-like, those are actually leaf structures with the flower in the center, but they look like white flowers. But they come open before it really starts to leaf out, which I just think is so beautiful. Anybody that hasn't, been following us for a long time or is kind of new to the channel, this tree means the world to me. I have wanted one for so long and tried over and over again to grow them, and we had one catastrophe after another at times. So this mature dogwood is something I do not take for granted. Oh, I love the spring here. Awesome. It's a glorious Easter day, and I think that we're coming into full bloom. The Lord just brings back renewal every single year. It's so precious. And all that it meant that Jesus rose from the grave and He reigns as King, and He wants to give us new life. What a beautiful day. Well, these gorgeous dogwood flowers, I think, are just peeking. They're wide open. In fact, between this morning and now, I can see that they're just starting to almost begin to wilt just a little. Boy, they had just been so beautiful. And now the green leaves are coming out. We have a thunderstorm, like severe storm warning. We have a tornado watch, and there's supposed to be some pretty substantial hail. So we are going to protect the tomatoes here from getting beat to death if the hail starts really coming down. So he's just going to put a board there and just give the tomatoes a bit of a shelter that I'm hoping is going to protect them. They're doing great. I just got them really planted, and they handled the planting really well. So that's good, hon. Thank you.
Yep, I think that should do it.
Just trying to protect them from getting beat to death by the hail. And then I'm going to take this. This is some wonderful UV netting that I got from Molly, so that sometimes if it's too hot, I can put it over things like lettuce, and it kind of protects them. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to put this over the mesh on my bed to protect my very freshly planted flowers. Oh, you know what? Is it long enough to get caught underneath the edge of the... Oh, good. We're just gonna pin...
Tucked in over there?
Oh, yeah, just a second. But this should protect the flowers. I'll lift it up. Oh, we don't want to lift too much. Your other side's gonna go down. Okay, I just don't want this to blow away.
I'll just lay some boards across the top to hold it in place.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll keep big hail from going down on my flowers. Oh yeah, thank you, hon.
Just pull it.
Good. I just don't want hailstones to get through that mesh and beat my flowers up, so good. Alrighty. Well, listen, guys. Thank you that people seem to like to know what we're doing here. It's a beautiful day. I'm loving being outside. I'm loving feeling so much better. Yes, praise God. So, as the birds are soaring and the sun is shining and the traffic's whooshing by, listen, live simple, live free. I love you guys all. I'm going to do the Bill thing and just say be blessed. And we will see you soon. Bye-bye.